Welcome to the Canyon Cowboy Rodeo Radio podcast. I'm Klark Kleczek, and I have my co-host, Abraham Lopez. Abraham Lopez. And today we're going to be interviewing Logan Carrafiello. So, how you doing, Logan?
I'm doing good. Quarantine's got me feeling a little diff, but yeah, I'm doing pretty alright. School's about to be over, like tomorrow, as of the day we're recording this. It's pretty good.
How about you, Abraham? How you doing?
Oh, yeah, dude. Couldn't be better. You know, just had a new niece come out.
I was just in an earthquake, so that was pretty cool, but that's about it on my end.
Yeah, that was pretty banging.
So, I guess we'll start with the questions. Logan, do you believe that life will ever return back to normal, to how it was before all this happened?
Like, completely back to normal as if you took us back in time? No. There's gonna be lasting ripples of this, for sure. Like, people are gonna subconsciously be like, touching things less, not touching their face. And, you know, obviously in, like, actually massive places like China and India, it's never gonna be the same because they're poor countries and they're also big. But, you know, in places like this, with the whole movement of, like, George Floyd, if you're referring to that as well, then it's definitely gonna change things. But purely coronavirus, yeah, it's definitely gonna change a lot of things.
I meant, like, solely coronavirus, because I feel like schools won't be the same ever again. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, no, it's probably going to be more, like, prone to these things, because wasn't there, like, an Ebola outbreak over in, like, Congo or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel like a lot more safety measures are going to be required in our society as we move forward, you know?
Yeah.
So what do you think people should do to pass their time?
Purely, like, just passing time quarantine-wise?
Yeah.
My number one go-to has just been playing games, but another good thing is to pick up a hobby, singing, an art form in a way, playing an instrument, singing, drawing.
Yeah, I mean, that should add further more to the question of what could you recommend? Or, like, what could you recommend to give other people motivation who think that picking up an instrument is
too difficult?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I mean, if you're in quarantine and, like, I have a couple friends who have, like, you know, jobs they work from home on, or, like, they literally just got booted out of their job for the time being. So if you have absolutely nothing to do, you have to do something to help you make happy and something to keep your, like, time bided. Working out is also an extremely good alternative to, like, anything, because it doesn't take, like, much equipment. You can do, like, a full body in 20 minutes and feel great
10 push-ups.
Like, yeah, even 10 push-ups, minute plank, like, basic things can still give you crazy buffs and just how you feel. That was a weird way to say it, but...
Crazy abs.
Yeah, crazy abs, dude. Like, everybody's gonna have the quarantine bod. Like, it's either one or the opposite. Like, you're either extremely...
obese.
Obese, like Nikocado avocado, like, after. Or you're, like, you know, pretty slimmed out ab-wise. But picking up an instrument, picking up a game, singing, drawing, working out are probably the best things I could recommend to anybody in quarantine right now.
Yeah.
Have you done any cooking that you normally wouldn't do before?
Yeah, I've actually been focusing more on breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like eating regimented. Because, you know, if we have time, I'm trying to build habits, like build good habits at home while I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, making my bed like every other day or something, like just making sure my bed is always good. Because, you know, you have to make sure your room is in good shape because that represents your mental state. So just been kind of keeping things tidy-ish. And yeah, I've definitely been cooking a lot, you know, making eggs in the morning, like making steak and eggs at night, you know, just experimentation.
Yeah, I used to like never have breakfast ever, but now I actually, instead of just like pouring cereal with milk or whatever, then I'm actually like making eggs or muffins now and stuff like that. So it's kind of sick. And it tastes good too. Like, it's not like the worst stuff. I thought it'd be like cafeteria food where it's just like bleh, but it's kind of aight. It's not terrible.
Definitely a good thing to get into cooking now. Cooking is also a thing I'd recommend for the last question. Cooking is going to be extremely important in this whole pandemic.
Are video games a waste of time during quarantine?
In my personal opinion, I'm planning on actually... I'm very passionate about video games. I'm good at them. I like talking about them. So I'm actually planning on, when I'm older, either being a coach or actually becoming a pro player. Maybe a caster by chance, going into esports. Yep. But definitely no. It's been proven that certain video games actually help you, you know, develop certain task making and task finishing skills. Just like generally helpful things you can learn from playing video games. Obviously, don't be an addict and play like 12 hours a day, but like if you can just, you know, sit down and play a game for like an hour or two, maybe not even like 30 minutes, just have a good time with a couple of friends or whatever. Yeah, it's definitely not a waste of time considering there's not much to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know, usually when I'm gaming now, sometimes like I get like really bored really quick with the game, but then it's when I'm just kind of chilling with friends and stuff. So that's a good thing to like be with other people, like have other human interaction. What good movies have you seen? What films have you enjoyed recently?
New films or like old films too?
Just like what films have you seen during quarantine that you like enjoyed?
Very recently, I actually watched The Hobbit and The Hobbit: Desolation of Smaug, which are the first and second movies of the trilogy, and they're both really good. I've realized that I like The Hobbit and Middle Earth and all that type of stuff, basically nerd stuff. But I've also went back and watched some old Dragon Ball movies, like Fusion Reborn, new Broly movie. But I'm not much of a movie type of guy. But movies are definitely a really fun way to just experiment, spice it up. Like, you could watch a rom-com with, like, your family or whatever. Like, just anything you want to experiment with. You have the time at this point. Quarantine's not going to fully end for a while, so you still have time to, like, develop habits and just try new things.
Yeah. Do you think most kids struggle with online school more than they struggle with normal school?
Most kids, yeah. I was... if no one had brought it up, I was going to ask if I could, but... like, even for me, for people who are very emotional, just like people who are get in their own heads a lot, overthink things, online school is really difficult, especially for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd rather be forced to go into a classroom and learn something, because over online school, I genuinely haven't learned a thing. I couldn't tell you a single thing that I've learned in any of my classes because I'm just not used to it. But I'm sure that if like this went on for a while longer, people would get used to it. But it's such a sudden change that it's dragging people out of what their norm was. And it's to the point where habits have already had enough time to build. And, you know, a lot of people are just not doing work. I was like that, but, you know, thankfully teachers are quite lenient in this time since it's a massive pandemic and 2020 has been a bit of a devilish year.
Yep.
But yeah, it's definitely much harder for most people, I'd say.
I didn't think of that. When you said that you didn't really learn anything, I tried to think about, oh, what have I learned? Like, what have I learned this whole time? And then I realized, like, I don't remember anything. Like, I don't remember what I learned in math like a few weeks ago. Like, I can't even tell you what I learned there. The only thing I can tell you is what I learned in Mr. Williams, because that's the GOAT. It's the GOAT class, honestly. But yeah, honestly, I didn't think of that. You're actually right. I feel like I've just been wasting my time.
It's a big responsibility factor, because usually when you're at normal school, you actually learn something, whether you like realize it or not. But now you're learning nothing, and you're doing basically busy work just for a grade. And, you know, our school, at least for the teachers I have, they're not too involved in doing like Zoom meets and whatever. And some schools are like mandatory, like up by 7:30 sharp on the Zoom meeting for an hour a day or whatever. But yeah, it's just been hard to like be engaged in all of online school. So yeah, it's definitely worse in my opinion. I like the experience of normal school and just being able to hang out with friends or just meet new people, but it's not happening now.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think will happen if distance learning basically continues into your junior year, because you're a sophomore? And how do you think, if like it does continue, how do you think it should be improved? Like, what improvements would you say should be made?
Wow, that's a good question. See, it's odd because it depends very much on your teachers, because everybody has a different way of teaching. Certain teachers just don't work well on online school because they're very engaging, like one-on-one. But one thing that a lot of teachers could definitely do better is like acknowledge that when a person is home all the time, it's very possible that people's home lives are just bad. They have maybe an abuse of anything, and it can be really hard for people to get things done. Lack of motivation. So I feel like there should be more lenience if distance learning continues, and I feel like there should be more like, it's weird, but less homework and more like get the Zoom meet on this time and it's like group work or just group learning. Less work, more learning, I should say. Or just even, not even less work, just more learning, because it shouldn't be a waste of my time to do online school. I like school, and you know, it's so easy to just kind of sit there and just not join a Zoom meet. So teachers should try to be more engaging and be more experimental. And
yeah, that makes sense.
These are good questions, actually. They're well prepped. These are like very well tailored.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's the brainchild of me and Abraham. We're geniuses.
Absolute geniuses, dude.
On the topic of like looking into the future, what up and coming stuff in the future has you excited instead of worrying about more quarantine?
Events personally in my life, being able to drive, for sure. Like, the freedom of being able to drive and do whatever I want for a sense when I'm 16 is going to be really great and helpful. But actual world events, I'm sort of looking forward towards the elections this year just to see how it happens. Not looking forward to it like, oh, whatever, but it's always interesting to see how it works between people.
Especially how it'll work this year.
Yeah, just being able to drive, and in the later future, becoming 18, what I'm going to be when I'm older. As I said earlier, wanting to go into esports, definitely like testing the waters with that. College, all that. It's going to be an extremely weird experience, considering that like college could also be like weirdly distant. You know, no one can really tell the future right now, so no one knows what it holds.
Your high school and college years could be just in the same house, just every day.
Yeah, for the next like years. That's the worst. I hope that's not it. I really hope that doesn't end up being the case.
I mean, say quarantine ends by like the end of the summer. Do you think everything's just gonna go back on track, or like we're just gonna be more cautious or something?
No, it'll never be back 100%. It'll take years for it to be 100%. But this year, if we do actually end up going back for our junior year, I have a feeling that more classes are going to be like less hands-on, like, you know, try it as hard as you can not to touch doorknobs or not to like overly touch anything.
Or like less group presentations.
Maybe mask required. Maybe mask required.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly, because I have a story about that. So a couple of weeks before we actually got properly like taken out of school and quarantined, Klark was actually handing out masks. And
I find it so funny. I think of that all the time.
Yeah, and, but I got a mask, and I got 2 masks, and I layered them and whatever. My friend Miles did too. We were in our science class, and the masks don't work. They work mostly one way, and it prevents you from coughing on other people and getting things on surfaces. And that day, I had a minor cough, because I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, okay, cool enough. It'll be fine. Like, if I wear it, you know, someone can just tell me to take it off, and I'll be fine. But I went into class, and I was wearing them, and then the principal came in, Miss Holcomb. Funny thing is, she was so chill. She was like, hey, you know, new school policy. It's kind of dumb, but basically anybody who's going to wear one of those has to be tested for a fever. And, you know, Miles and I, Miles is one of my friends, close friends, and him and I, we both were like, okay. We went up to the office, and we went to the health office. She had this, like, temperature gun or whatever, pointed it at our foreheads and just beep. And neither of us had fevers, obviously. And she was like, listen, you kids, you can't be doing this type of thing. We're going to take these masks from you. And we were like, what?
Wait, what?
Oh.
Yeah, they took them from us. And we were like, what? And then they were like, okay, maybe come get them at the end of the day. And they put them in bags, and they put, like, Logan Miles on them. And literally, we went back, and we told Miss Holcomb or something. Or we didn't tell her, maybe, but word got to Miss Holcomb that happened, because we told people about it. We were like, yeah, they literally just took them from us. And I got called up later in the day, and then Miss Holcomb was like, sorry about the way they acted. Here's your mask back. Just don't wear it unless you don't have a fever, right? And I was like, all right, cool, thank you.
Yo!
Wait, but why?
I don't know. Miss Holcomb was like a whole G throughout that entire scenario.
Yeah.
She was so nice. I was
why didn't they let you wear the masks?
I don't know.
I think it was like they didn't want you to scare kids or whatever. That's what they were telling me.
Funny thing is, Clark had an entire hazmat suit on. An entire white or yellow hazmat suit.
And like one of the vice principals came up and was like, you know that if you're wearing a mask, you know, it doesn't stop you from getting it. And I was like, okay, but have you seen the kids? They're sanitary here. They sneeze on all this stuff all the time. I might as well like try to give them masks to mitigate possible spreading.
Yeah.
And she was just like, huh. She just walked off. She just walked off.
Didn't one of them take your picture or something? Like something like that? They're like, hey, we're gonna need to take your picture if you continue doing this.
No, Mr. Williams took a picture though.
Oh.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. They probably would have done a mugshot thing and been like, the police officer's like, you're gonna come with me. I don't know. I like how after I did that, we literally left because of COVID, and they were like, don't worry about it. It's okay, everybody.
Well, taking the masks away, that kind of seems irrational to me.
It seems sort of, I don't know, I get it in a sense, but thing is, we're kids, we're very impressionable. You don't just go up to a kid and be like, we're taking this from you. Like, give us a reason, please. That's all, like, all I wanted was a valid reason, because, like, you know, even if I don't have it, there's a chance of, like, if I cough on somebody, that maybe that were to, like, do something. Like, obviously, I cough into my shirt. It's common manners, but if, you know, I sneeze or something, one particle went and got on a desk, then that could cause a potential outbreak. I was trying to mitigate the risk that could entail. But,
I mean,
this makes sense.
Yeah.
You think if you were to wear the mask like last year before we even knew about the coronavirus, they do something about it?
Oh yeah.
The
cop would have shot you like right away. He would have been like, "This guy terrorist, get him out."
This guy
on site.
I mean, no, I'm talking about like a nurse might. I mean, a nurse mask.
I don't know, because I know kids who like would wear the black ones that have like designs on the face, and those still work. But thing is, you know how it is in like Japan. Like there was no, I might be wrong, but I believe there were no major outbreaks, and they would still wear the masks, just pure like just in
pollution
case reasons.
I think it's because of the pollution there somehow. I don't know.
I'm not an expert. Correct me if I'm wrong, but just they still wear them there, and I don't believe there should be a massive issue if someone's wearing a mask. But I do see how it could cause panic. But I feel like at the school, they should have done a better job properly informing. If somebody is wearing a mask, don't be freaked out. They are just trying to mitigate the risk of them possibly... They're just containing their... I don't know. They're just containing the risk. That's it.
Yeah.
It should be more common, at least after quarantine, to wear masks if you're sick.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be like introduced as like proper etiquette at wherever you just need to wear a mask now.
Yeah.
The only thing that they did at school was they put like little pieces of paper in the bathroom that were just like torn down instantly. Like
exactly.
Wow.
They put paper in the bathroom?
Yeah, they put like a little paper. Exactly. You didn't even know because nobody goes in the school bathrooms. But like they put it up with tape and they were like, "Don't cough on other people, please." That was it. That's all they had.
Dude, yeah, of course they're gonna get ripped down.
But
In the school bathroom, what do you expect?
Yeah, is it like jewel in there and stuff?
What about pooping?
Dude, okay.
chill.
You straight up have to be like, you have to have the.
No, I'm not saying I go there. I don't lay it in school.
No, I'm just saying.
No.
It takes courage
I'd rather not
to lay it in
address.
school. Like, what? Bad experience?
No, not that. Just I'd rather not address.
Pooping in the bathroom, or the other one? What I other said?
Nah, bro, we gotta change the subject, man.
Okay, you're right.
Fair enough.
Whatever.
We'd always just enforce the proper etiquette for the masks.
Yeah.
Because I get that they're just trying to reduce like the risks because of like all the school shootings that have happened in the past. But I mean, I feel like right now, if somebody were to actually just try and threaten, then I don't know what they'd be thinking though.
Yeah.
Especially with what happened at Saugus, you put a ton of people on high alert. It's a massive issue that you couldn't ever like talk about in like an hour time span. It'd take like weeks of debating with like high level like mega mind massive just like mega mind people to talk about it, to try to find like a half way to deal with it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
no, with all these issues, the biggest part that bothers me is that I'm a bit of a perfectionist in some ways. There's no true answer to any of these issues. For coronavirus and whatever, there's always going to be the exception of people who have specific disabilities, like that could potentially make them very susceptible to gaining symptoms of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like very vulnerable.
This is gonna go down in the history books, like just like how the Spanish flu outbreak went down in history books.
Yeah, but it might be a little bit altered, you know?
Oh yeah, because, you know, some quotes and whatever, like victories written by the victors, like obviously that doesn't apply fully, but who've been hit the hardest by it are probably going to be the ones who end up writing about it. And I don't know, it's probably going to get morphed a little bit, but it's going to be weird because no other generation has had like, you know, your Snapchat memories or whatever to show people like what happened. But nowadays there's such like a level of surveillance and whatever that you could basically
document everything.
Yeah, document
right?
everything. Yeah. Exactly. It's crazy. Like my kids are literally going to know exactly how I was when I was young. Like literally in like 4K definition.
Study you.
Literally, they could study me. Like, it's crazy. It's insane.
Okay, so I think we're gonna be wrapping it up now, but I guess we'll just so what are you gonna be doing, Logan? Like this week, what are you gonna be doing?
This week I might go help out with my dad at you know, like Big Mouth Pizza in Dulce, California.
Yo!
No, dude, kind of subtle.
Let's go! Let's go!
Subtle plug, but yeah, definitely gonna go help volunteer with my dad, and yeah.
That's nice. What are you doing? Abraham? What are you doing?
I mean, me personally, I mean, I go to work with my dad and stuff, you know, so I might be doing that for sure. Visiting my new niece, you know, because my sister just gave birth.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Let's go. I think I'm just gonna be working on this stuff for now, but like the podcast stuff. But I don't know. Nothing's really happening much, but I hope stuff starts to happen where we can go back and make like decisions to basically be able to do more stuff. I don't know. That's it.
We should have a minute of silence for George Floyd and the tragedy that struck him on Tuesday last week.
Yeah.
That'll conclude our moment of silence.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
George
Yeah.
Floyd.
I just want to say, hope everybody out there is safe. Everybody continues to be safe, and just know that everybody that continues to work to quarantine at least, we'll get through the situation of COVID sooner. So,
yeah.
And if I'll just say, if you're gonna go out to protest,
just like from each
then
one of us
just
individually.
be sure to wear your mask.
have a good day, guys. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Yep.